Afternoon, folks. I'm Dave Canterbury with Suffer Alliance Outfitters in the Pathfinder School. I'm down here at the Pathfinder Outdoor Classroom today doing some spring cleaning, just getting some things straightened up. We have a Intro to Survival class coming up this weekend. It starts on Friday. It's a full class, sold out. So we are trying to get things prepped and ready for that class. But while I was down here doing that, I thought I would add another video to our navigation series because we've been kind of hammering on that lately, off and on. And I wanted to talk a little bit today about Lensatic compasses or the Cammenga Compass. Now, I've got a video on how to use a Cammenga Compass, how to sight bearings, things like that with a Cammenga or Lensatic compass. What I want to do today is I want to show you a way to take bearings off your map with this compass without having to worry about any math, without orienting the map or any of that stuff, and just using a protractor inside this compass to do the work for you, because it's a little bit different than a normal base plate compass, but it works very similar and it works just as well. Remember that the dial inside this compass moves independently with the degrees on it. It doesn't move when you move the bezel ring. The only thing that moves with the bezel ring is the doghouse or the luminous indicator. That will move. Nothing else moves. Everything else is independent inside the compass. You also have to remember that it's in 5-degree increments instead of 2-degree increments like a base plate compass. So it's not going to be quite as accurate from a degree reading sense because they're made more to be accurate in mils. However, they work just fine and you can get really, really close. And I'm going to show you how to do that today. And we'll verify the concept by using a protractor on the map to show you that the readings are the same that we get on the compass versus a regular map protractor. All right, stay with me. We're going to go out here and get off this table because there's some metal in this table and I don't want the magnetics messing with the compass. We'll go out here on a stump and I'll show you how it's done. Okay, so using a Lensatic compass to take a bearing from a map, and we haven't oriented the map or anything else. We just laid the map on the ground and we're going to use our compass very similar to a protractor like we did with our base plate compass, except we're using a different style compass. This is a Cammenga compass and it's called a Lensatic compass, okay? And this one has a glow-in-the-dark line you can see here as you move the dial. Remember that the card floats inside here, so you're not moving any degree readings. When you rotate this, you're only rotating that line. The degree readings are on a dial independently spinning inside there, okay? So when you line this glow-in-the-dark line up with the glow-in-the-dark line on the north needle, you have what's called needle in the doghouse like you would with a base plate compass. All right, so what we're gonna do with this compass is to take a bearing. Let's just say we wanna travel from this hilltop here to the house here, okay, on the map. So we're gonna go here to here. Now, we can look at that and say it's pretty much dead west. It's a little bit off of dead west by looking at the map, knowing that the upper part of the map is facing north. However, this is good to verify what you're doing, okay? So we're going to lay this on the map with the line here and the front of the compass or the sighting window ahead of us because we're traveling this direction, okay? And we're gonna line it up with the hilltop and the house. Once we have that done, we're going to rotate this glow-in-the-dark line on the bezel until it's straight up and down with the top of the map and parallel to our grid lines, okay? So again, verify that you're on both locations. Get yourself as parallel close as you can to the grid lines, just like that. And then when you pick your compass up and you rotate your compass until you have needle in the doghouse and those lines line up when you're traveling, you now have the bearing at the top of your compass. That's your travel bearing. And you can see it's almost dead west. And if we look at it closely through the magnifying glass, it will show us what that bearing is, right? But we have to be standing up to look at that. And I can tell you right now, it says about 272 or 273, somewhere in that neighborhood. It goes in 5-degree increments on this compass. So it goes from 270 to 275 to 280. It's not 2 degrees per mark like it is on a base plate compass. On this compass, you have 5-degree markings there. All right, so it goes from 270, 275, 280. So when I line this up, needle in the doghouse, what I get is about 270, between 270 and 275, okay? So not dead west, a little off of dead west. If we want to verify that, we can just take a protractor and we can do the same thing. We can lay our protractor on the hilltop, make sure that we're straight up and down with the map, we're parallel to grid lines, pull our string over to this house, and you can see right here is 275, right here is 270. We're between 270 and 275, exactly like we were on the compass, okay? So that tells you that you can take readings directly off this map with this compass without orienting anything, rotate your doghouse or your luminous line to the top, parallel with the lines with the compass in the right travel direction. And when you put the needle in the doghouse, the bearing at the top of your compass on your travel line here will be your travel bearing, okay? And it will be exactly the same as if you'd taken it off the map without doing anything. Not orienting the map, not figuring declination, nothing else. All right, guys, that was a fairly quick video to teach you how to take bearings off a map with your Cammenga Compass without having to do any math or orient the map or any of that business, and shows you the ease of use with one of these type compasses if that's what you have, instead of having a base plate style compass. They will work just fine. You just have to understand they're different and how to use them. I appreciate your views. I appreciate your support. I thank you for everything you do for school, for family, and for business. For all of our sponsors, instructors, affiliates, and friends, and I hope to see you at a class out here at the Pathfinder School in 2025.